Welcome to your free Select a Stack session. This is what I like to call a triangle session. As you can see, there are 3 stacks laid out in something that looks a little bit like a triangle. And what you're going to do is choose one of these that calls out to you. You may choose based on the number of the stack, such as number 1 on top, number 2 on the bottom left, or number 3 on the bottom right. Maybe the token on top calls out to you. Maybe the colors or designs of the cards call out to you. So what you do now, choose whichever one is calling out to you the most. Sometimes it's hard to choose, but go with your gut. Then you're going to click on the timestamp below, and then your session will begin. Welcome back. If you chose stack number 1, that is the stack with the bird or the pink Frida card on top, you are in the right place. So let's unpack this for you. Like that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, I told you we're going to lay this out in a triangle pattern. So the first thing I'm going to reveal to you is this Frida card. Now I shuffled these beforehand, but I have not looked at them at all. Now your very first message is, you can only lift others above fear with creativity, love, and a lightness of being. So I don't know if that resonates with you so far or not. If you've been feeling something like this, maybe a heaviness because you're trying to lift others when maybe you're not fully giving yourself the room to fill yourself back up, right? Maybe you're trying to fill others without actually being full, and then what happens? You end up completely empty because you've given everything that you have away. All right, the next card that goes with this. This is the 3 of Cups. This is my favorite deck. It's called the Muse. And in this deck, 3 of Cups is 3 of emotions. Explains a little bit more what cups means. It does have a little bit more to do with your heart in general, right? That's kind of where we center the cups. So the 3 of Cups generally means something like celebration. And I really feel that it mirrors this sense of lightness. So either you are already feeling this, or you need to lean in to something that brings this sense. Maybe that is being with friends. Okay? That might just be on a video, because I don't know what you're going through right now in your life, right? Are you feeling isolated? Maybe physically being with others is not possible, and that's very hard for you. Maybe. But what this is speaking of is connecting with those you are closest to in a joyful way. Something that brings maybe more lightness. Or if you are connecting with people, make sure that they are people who are the type who are reciprocal. Okay? You're not pouring everything that you have in without being filled back up in some sort of way. Maybe that's some sort of celebration or appreciation. There's no way that I can know exactly how that's going to come about in your life, but I want you to be aware of those connections that bring the opposite of that. Those connections that feel like they deplete you, and those patterns feel like they maybe don't end. Again and again and again, maybe certain people, relationships, circumstances may feel like they deplete you and they are not giving back enough. And so it's just very important that you pay attention. So I want to read you this little poem really quickly. And it says, I love our 3 hearts of essence and bubbly things, like the strings of past, present, and future, tied to this soul family because I know you. So maybe focus on people who not only you know how to lift, right? But maybe pour in a little bit more to those who know how to lift you as well. Again, reciprocal. Okay? Now the next part that I'm going to reveal to you in this reading, this is the Goddess Power, your Goddess Power card. And this basically is what we're calling upon to, what is it? Maybe move this forward. Maybe you're feeling stuck somewhere within this dynamic. Okay? And what this is saying basically is you can only find the difference, the answers, the beyond the confusion of these relationships, the ties that you have between some sort of attachment versus unconditional love. Because those things can become very, very confusing. Sometimes we believe that we are nurturing and loving someone when we are in an unhealthy attachment situation. So only in stillness can you find the answers. Okay? Also, I want you to notice the numbers that have come up so far, just in case those mean anything to you. You have 3 here, which also this is the triangle reading. Okay, it's not 3 cards, but you did choose based on one of 3 decks. This is number 1, but still, maybe you were attracted to this particular reading, the triangle, because of the number 3. Also 52, which 5 plus 2 is 7. So 3 and 7 may be meaningful to you, or also the number 52. So, now that we're talking about stillness, okay. And I believe it's pronounced Yuki Anna. Could be wrong. Stillness, 52. The Japanese goddess of winter. Ooh, that is very interesting, right? We are currently, at least when this is being recorded, maybe not when you're watching it, but when this is being recorded, this is like I think the second day after the first real snowfall of the year where I live. So it's very interesting that this is the goddess of winter. Okay? The Japanese goddess of winter, Yuki Anna, calls you to a practice of daily meditation and stillness to prepare you for greater productivity and results. Being open and receptive, slowing down, and allowing for time to dream activates your partnership with the universe so you can truly set your intentions in motion. Then, almost without effort, you discover their vibrational match in the world of form. Just as the life force quietly builds within a seed buried under snow, so too will the energy build in the seed of your desires before manifesting with no effort on your part. You will find how easy it is to co-create while implementing a practice of stillness and receptivity. Let others make the first move at this time as you assess and observe the world around you from this profound position of stillness and neutrality. In this way, the world becomes more intimate, yet you know to take nothing personally. When the goddess Yuki Anna comes to support you, be still. This calls in the miracles. The action now is non-action. So, that might be something that that calls out to you. It's very, very important to really, really sit with not only what makes sense to you in your brain, but what just somehow makes sense in your heart or in your soul, or whatever that space is, whatever you want to call it, whatever you connect to, or whatever you feel in your chest. Just tune in there. Tune in there with a sense of lightness. Tune in there when you are especially feeling feeling creative, a lot of answers will be revealed. A lot of things will open up for you. All right, now your last message of this reading, this session, nature. Take a moment today to stand outside and quiet your thoughts and breathing. Know the sun and your soul are always shining. The birds and your heart are always singing. And the flowers and your path are always opening up. Birds, hey? You don't have to action these things. I thought I was reading it wrong. You don't have to action these things into being. You just have to turn up. Look around and feel life. Notice how your dreams and desires surround you in many ways. It may not be the precise thing you desire, though it will give you the same feeling. Look for where your dreams and desires are instead of where they are not. Shift your perception and you will change your life. So I hope very much that this helped you, that this clarified some things. If this is not something you resonated with, feel free to try it in one of the other stacks. And if you enjoyed this, I really, really appreciate you subscribing, liking, and sharing this. If you've chosen stack number 2, the flower, or the blue Frida card, this is where you're supposed to be. So let's pull this apart and start to unpack it. So the center of this reading for you. Breathe deeper, extend your breath, and listen to your heart. Create a life from here. So that is the center of your message. Now what we'll do from here is clarify that with a few more cards. First card is the Muse Tarot. Hard to see from up here. Muse of Materials. This is the King of Pentacles or the King of Earth in a normal deck. This is the Muse tarot deck, and it's my favorite. So we're talking about creation, and we're talking about not just dreaming something up. We're talking about really creating something new, a whole new life, something that you've created with confidence, intention, purpose. This is something that you want to make, choosing to step in that direction by taking a breath and another breath. Again, listening to your heart. And from here, we begin to create with confidence. It's very important to note that with something like this, the king of this means this is something real, tangible. This is something that you are making in the real world, or you're making a whole new world for yourself. I'm just going to open up the book. See if we can deepen the meaning of this just a little bit. Okay, so we're talking about creating a life of abundance, not just a life of abundance, but a life that feels abundant. That's really important. Something that is material, okay? It may not be wealth, but something having to do with your material security. Feeling prosperous, feeling that you are living your life well, being deeply appreciative, grounding yourself into the earth or your own root, your root chakra. This is deep comfort. Okay, this is security from a deep place within you. So here's a little poem. I love these. So mesh with me in this nest of wealth, a plentiful, snug nutrition. Absorb this magic, this garden of health. Walk the way toward certain fruition. So it's very important that you believe in what's possible for yourself, or at least that you can feel fulfilled. You are valuable enough just existing in this world to create a life that feels fulfilling at your core. Okay, and now we are going to flip the Goddess Power Oracle. Deepen this a little bit further. And this is Kali. And she is bringing you a message of liberation. Also, if the number 26 or the number 8 means anything to you, that is also something that's coming up. So, Kali is one of my absolute favorite goddesses, and she is one that I actually connected with, the very first goddess I connected with in an oracle deck, to be completely honest. So, it says, you're being invited by the Hindu goddess of liberation and revolution, Kali, the goddess of creation and destruction as well. Sort of, if you think about like the yin and the yang, and how those interplay together. They are constantly moving, creating, destroying, and balancing out one another. That is the sort of creation and destruction balance. Death from life, life from death, and how that cycle is built into the nature of existence. So I'll start over. You're being invited by the Hindu goddess of liberation and revolution, Kali, to address the aspects in your own shadow nature that have held you hostage to old ideas that no longer serve who you want to become. You can no longer define yourself by your victim story and expect to succeed in your life. There is a beauty in liberation that is deep, fierce, and courageous. It rises up from the willingness to break the chains of the past in order to transform into something new. You may be afraid to set boundaries with others, but the goddess Kali has come to lend you her daggers, for you must cut ties with the familiar ideas about life that have determined your place in the world up until now. Have you been holding back on shining in the world because you are afraid of the reprisal or judgment of others? This helps no one. You must step into life authentic and glowing. Refuse to allow the potential judgment of others to affect you. Every day, claim your power to liberate yourself from caring what others think. When you are asking for the wisdom to live and contribute, to do no harm, and to serve for the highest good of all, none of this matters, even if you must tear down what has been built. Kali will help you whenever you need to be courageous, even when you are most afraid. Be fierce, be loving, be willing to learn. Life will respond in miraculous ways. Okay, so the way that this is all coming together now, as you can see, every card kind of makes the message a little bit more specific. We're talking about creating a life confidently, courageously, and in order to liberate yourself, okay, and to create a deeply satisfying existence, you may have to break a few things down. You may have to walk away from something. It may not be pure joy.
okay? And that's why you have to sit still and why you have to listen to your heart. Why you have to know where you're going before you take a step. Why you have to at least have an idea, okay, of where this path is going. And did this step feel right? And did this step feel right? And am I creating something different than what dissatisfied me previously? Because we're pretty prone to following the same patterns again and again, to creating the same sort of thing again and again, with different people or in different places, not really creating something new by identifying the way old patterns have played out in dissatisfying ways, but allowing ourselves to become attached to things that we are chasing because of insecurity and codependencies that we haven't been ready to resolve within. So it's very important to start, okay? Do you see this crossing this bridge to whatever is a fully satisfying life really may take severing some ties, okay? Releasing, consciously, purposefully releasing things that are toxic from your life. Even things that are toxic about yourself. We all have things that are toxic about ourselves. It's very easy to point fingers at other people, but it is much more valuable to identify how we create the same patterns again and again in our own life, because we create all of it, okay? We don't necessarily inflict all these things upon ourselves, but what we do with everything that happens to us is very, very important, and that's what our life is made of. All right, and the very last card. Oneness. You observe the light and dark of duality as a way to see your creations manifest into the physical. Notice, now this is really, really important. Notice these recurring themes, okay? To see your creations manifest into the physical. And this is very specific, and I want you to notice this. This is not coincidence. This is on purpose. You chose this message as this comes together. This is not a coincidence that we were speaking here of creating. We're speaking here of manifest and physicality. This is earth. This is manifest. This is physical creation, okay? And then this here is creating also. Creation that comes from destruction. One thing falls apart, that does not mean anything. It only means the old thing has gone away. It does not mean anything about what we choose to do in the future, right? So, the great light of love is different to the light of duality. It is the merging of all opposites into one. Become clear with this. Otherwise, you will be chasing only light, happy and nice, denying the dark, sad, and awful, or vice versa. Opposites exist when we focus on one side. You know what you want to do when you know what you don't want. Duality exists in this plane to have us ask different questions of life and create physical manifestations from the energy that flows from those questions. This is how you create your life. All is well, for the light of oneness will never judge you. It just shines upon you as always. It is us who don't always feel its presence when we are focusing on a false perception of reality. So what you have going on now in your life is your perception. I want you to take that from this. Your entire life right now is perception, it is choice, And you have the freedom now to confidently create the life that you want. That means tearing something down, so be it. Okay? You know exactly what you are capable of. You should not settle, and you should not sell yourself short. Now, if you enjoyed this, you resonated with this, please like this, subscribe, and share. Also, if you did not resonate, feel free to try another stack. Thank you for being here. If you have chosen the third stack, the seashell or the green and white Frida card, you are in the exact right place. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is reveal the center of your reading. Dive into your life, allowing your beautiful words and actions to become inspirational. So, don't know if that means anything to you yet, but we're going to deepen it by pulling out some more cards. Next is my Muse Tarot, my favorite tarot deck. And the next card out is the Ace of Voices. This is the Ace of Swords. In a general tarot deck, this has to do with the mind and communication. Very interesting to note the Ace of Voices being of communication, and also talking about your words here. Okay, so we're talking about something brand new unfolding. Okay, something that comes from indulging or expressing, maybe that's more accurate, expressing confidently, courageously, expressing yourself. And from that, from just, I guess, standing your ground and being who you are, and just letting that be okay, regardless of what anyone else thinks about it. Now, I do want to just say that in general, it's always going to suit you to be kind. I know there's some situations where it's hard to be kind or other people do not deserve it, but the thing that I've learned that at least makes me most satisfied leaving any circumstance is when I have nothing at all to apologize for. When I walk away with my head held high, that is what I have found to be most satisfying. So we can be fierce and yet sweet, right? We can inspire action, yet it can be soft and it can be soothing. Where do we find that balance, and what is that for us when we're expressing, when we're using our voice? Okay. Now I'm going to, I love this book for my Muse Tarot because it's a little different, and it has, I need to find it. It has these little poems. It's much more poetic and just suits me. All right. I had a terrible time finding this, but here it is. Okay, so this may be just clarity about what you need to say or do. Something that is a fresh revelation for you. Something that is just completely, this might turn your whole world upside down, okay? Because this ace is this brand new wave of something, Okay, so maybe diving into whatever that is confidently creates something that you weren't necessarily prepared, you weren't necessarily expecting, but something much grander. I don't have a better word than grand, becomes of this seed that you plant here. This ace that you plant, this brand new, whether it's a seed or just a flash of clarity, or like something that just cuts through the fog for you. Okay, these are going to be the words that you need to say are not words that are going to bring harm. They're going to be the way that you reconcile the madness of the world with your own mind and soul. Okay? Aha. Discovered clarity, a calm that cuts through clouds. The perfect truth illuminates, confused veneer that shrouds. That's the little poem at the end, and I did not read it. And it is interesting to see. I always love to see kind of how the intuitive messages come across, and then how some of my favorite tarot deck creators or just tarot readers also interpret things, and to find that I often have messages that resonate very, very deeply. Okay, so the next part of this message, we have the green Tara, salvation. Also, if the number 18 or 9 mean anything to you. So we have, again, 18, 8 plus 1 equals 9. Also, 1. An ace is 1, right? Okay. The divine has intended you into being and given you the assignment to explore life through certain perceived limitations. Perceived limitations. You are meant to learn about life in all its complexities, especially learning about how to be in a community with others. Notice that as well, talking about community and to allow your words and actions to become inspirational. That implies people are watching. Green Tara, a Tibetan goddess also known as she who saves, says that you will never be alone in life's journey. This compassionate savior, goddess of intimate friendship, will ensure that the right people will show up for you at the right time. Green Tara reminds you that your needs will always be met. You don't need to know the how, as that is her domain. You just need to trust, and in the goddess, Green Tara will use her magic on your behalf. You are safe and secure, and always in the care of the divine. So no matter what this is for you, whether this is a large endeavor or this is just something, honestly, having to do with the peace in your soul, your character, your personal character, that's what sits well with me. That's what helps me sleep at night. How I act and interact each day is much more important to me than how others treat me. Because what speaks about me? What do I have to answer for? Okay? That's something that's very important. Use your words very, very intentionally. Trust that people in your community are watching you. Always. Trust that they are. Trust that they are. Not just that they're judging you, but they're looking for something connections, security, things that they don't necessarily have. They're looking for confidence. They're looking for someone who is not afraid to stand their ground and to be who they are and use their own voice no matter what comes. Okay, those are the ones who make the real changes in this world. Those are the ones who make a difference. Those who stand and speak, not yelling at the world. I've done that many times, yelling out at the world. That's not what I mean. What I mean here is when we slow down, observe, see how we integrate into this community. Who do we want to be? Not where do we fit, finding anywhere, any bit of belonging that we could possibly scrape together, any bit of attention, but trusting those who are meant to help us expand and enhance ourselves mutually, reciprocally, together, will show up now, right? They will show up and they will recognize those words. They will hop in to that symphony that your words are creating. Okay, so it's just really important for you to understand that this is all about you and your choices, okay? Do you want to create that clarity? Do you want to gain recognition the way that a respectable person does? By earning it, by earning your reputation, by creating something for the best of all involved, to the best of the community, for the best of the family. It's going to be your unique message, your unique way. How do you both shine, stand apart, okay, in the way that you're unique and there is no competition, okay? Your message is necessary, and create something that honors everyone, honors all, honors both those who agree with you and follow you and see the world the way you do, and those who do not. Can you find that balance of honor for yourself and everyone else? Truly, can you? And how do you find that balance? All right, the very last part of your message says crystal bath. Something that I didn't actually think about immediately when I saw crystal, and for crystal bath, is crystal clear. Okay, crystal clear. So this is going to be actually like an activity or meditation. You don't have to do it right now, but I'm going to read it to you. Hold your favorite crystal, close your eyes, and imagine you are walking down a flight of stairs to a beautiful crystal bath filled with healing waters. Whatever comes to your mind as you are moving into your bath, let it arise and guide you to a deeper feeling within you. You might feel raw, but allow yourself to ease into it. Like a hot bath, it may sting a little to start with, but when you eventually sit in it, it feels so soothing. Step into your crystal bath and be healed and soothed by your revitalizing waters. Allow all that comes up to be there. Just to be there. Begin to experience yourself on a more intimate level. Surrender to the process and release all resistance. Feel free as wave after wave of healing, soothing crystal liquid light and love flows over you and within you. Stay here for as long as you want. When you feel ready, open your eyes and see your world through crystal clear eyes. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that it resonated with you. If it did not, feel free to try one of the other stacks. If you did enjoy this and it did resonate, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for being here.